Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm doing some editing, and in fact it's this video. It's a slightly different episode as it's the last one of the first mainland Europe French series, and it's our final day as we travel to Calais to catch the tunnel and then back home. So we're going to weave into that last day our thoughts on the trip that we recorded the day before at the Air in Declare, and we will also share the full trip costs.
Welcome to the channel. That's Harry, our campervan, and that's me, Jane, and here's Stu, and we love to share with you our van life adventures.
This is our last video in our first mainland European series. We're catching the shuttle tomorrow, so we're going back tomorrow after 6 weeks. So it's been
it's gone really quick as always. Our last trip was 9 weeks, so 6 weeks is.
And we both said that we'd carry on if we could. We'd carry on. We don't want to go back home. That's the reality.
We never do. We like home, but we love travelling.
So what we thought we'd just summarise the first trip for us. How it's gone. We'll also put in between the clips. We'll collate the costs of the trip. I will subdivide the costs up because we did a Netherlands loop, and I will just separate that out because obviously some of you may not do that loop, and it was a bit more of I won't say an expensive loop, but it was from a distance point of view.
Yeah, it was a separate holiday, really. Yeah.
We're just going to go through, what our expectations are and how it turned out to be, and that. And like I said, I think overall it's been fantastic, hasn't it?
Yeah,
we've really enjoyed
this was a big trip for us because it's the first time we've been abroad in Harry. We've had Harry now 5 years, and so this was the beginning of future trips.
Definitely.
And the fact we found it so easy has really helped us plan future trips, really.
It's sort of a bit of a test, really, and to be honest, we've fallen I would say in love with France as well. It's been very easy, I think.
With broken sleep and an early start, we're pretty tired as we pack up and head to Calais, which is about 30 to 40 minutes away from our park up.
The first thing is, if you're thinking of going to Europe or you're hesitating about going, don't. It's really easy. France is very easy for campervanning, motorhoming. No matter what style of van life you've got, it works whether you're on sites or not. We haven't been on sites at all in France. No. We did in Amsterdam, but
that's
France
for different reasons.
That's for a different reason.
I mean, we're newbies compared to a lot of our subscribers. Have done the most incredible trips.
Yeah.
Trips that we can only dream that we're going to do.
Yeah, but I think I certainly feel more confident about it.
Yeah, definitely. You've got to take it one step at a time, haven't you? And France was definitely our first step into, the whole of Europe.
We have not been, I haven't needed to go onto a site, and we didn't want to because that's the way we prefer to do things. And it's been very safe and easy.
Yeah.
First of all.
But we're travelling out of season, so...
Yes, that may. But I would still say it's probably easy to do. And we've only done parts of the north of France, so we've only really scratched the surface of France. There's a lot more from what I can see of France, so that'll be quite exciting on future trips.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, we've been away for a total of 41 days, of which we spent 30 days in France in 2 stints. And as we said midway through, we had our family stop off in Amsterdam, which was about 11 days. This particular leg of the trip was more expensive as it was more of a family holiday with extra costs like city centre site fees. We'll present the costs in various categories and separate them into the 2 locations, as well as giving an overall combined view.
So let's first of all talk about the getting across here. We chose the shuttle. It was the fastest route, and to be honest, it was easy. When we haven't gone back yet, so we'll let you know if there's any hiccups on the way back. It was probably cheaper than the ferries, certainly faster than the ferries, and the whole process of clocking in. We're quick. We got on. In fact, we got on an earlier train because we were a bit earlier, and we were just allowed to go through, which was good.
We were early. Surprise.
So nice and simple. It's a nice little app that they give you. They send me text and messages of what to do, where to go, and all of that, and leading up to the crossing. So it's easy. So don't get worried about that.
The tunnel cost us £281 return, but you can make that slightly cheaper by travelling very early or later in the day, of course. Remarkably, ferries for the various river crossings were free in France. So well done, France, for supporting the local communities. We managed to avoid all toll roads and simply did what we like doing best and drift along the back roads. Of course, the trade-off is that we probably spent more on fuel, but you have to think that in return you get more memories and see more of French life. We're well on the way to Calais in the dark and make a last-minute stop to get rid of a bit of rubbish in one of the many bins in France. Je l'apprécie. Je l'apprécie. Je l'apprécie. That's all I had to say. So I had an embarrassing situation. There was a really helpful man in the supermarket who got me 3 boxes of 6 rosé. After a long time of us going back and forth, he didn't speak English, I didn't speak French, obviously. So I thought I'd try and impress him when he came back. So I put I appreciate it into Google Translate and I was practicing it in my head. And he walked round the corner and I just said, Je l'appreciate. And he went, and I went, and I made it worse when I went, I really appreciate it. As if talking slower in a different language, he would suddenly understand what I meant. And I am destined never to speak French because my pronunciation, as much as I take the mickey out of Stu, is dreadful. My God, Stu's just gone to the bin and he picked that up to put in the bin. And it's Andre, he nearly just chucked him in the bin. Luckily, I put my light on to have a look because we said, oh, that's rubbish as well. I could have just lost Andre.
Obviously, as you know, we were always concerned about driving on the other side of the road. That's in general has gone really well, hasn't it? Actually,
yeah. Stu's manoeuvred through huge city.
Yeah.
I take my hat off to him. I couldn't have done it.
We forced ourselves not to avoid cities, so we went into a few. Lille was probably one of the most challenging early on because it was one of the first ones, but then others, it didn't faze me going in.
Priority right is something you ought to look up before you come to France.
It is weird having cars pull out in front of you from the right. There's no two ways about that. And I think they're trying to phase it out. It's just strange how it goes from not having a priority to then suddenly having a zone that's priority.
For a very short...
For a short period of time, then it changes again.
Fuel is the biggest expense of any trip, and that came to £404.81p for the France leg, and we were paying around 1.83 to 1.9 euros per litre. As we said, we will give the Netherlands and Belgium costs separately. Also at the end we will give you the total distance travelled for the whole of the trip.
With more early morning traffic on the roads, we noticed one resident leaving a bin out. Well, I know for certain that our bin man would not take that.
Stuff like that,
yeah, well, he wouldn't take it. If the lid wasn't on, he wouldn't take it.
If we talk about France and the park-ups, you got your campsites, which we didn't go on any. I'll be honest with you. We went on paid airs, so we tried a couple of paid airs, and they were very nice. They might be €10, something like that. Well, I remember one that we were up by the Belgian border. Actually, it was a really nice site. We paid €10 there. Lovely site, no issue. There were lots of airs that are free airs, and a lot of airs that are provided by town councils that seem to really encourage you. They encourage you. Yeah. I always remember the one we found, that little village you come across. There was a time we had the night out where we were just at the end of a long day. We didn't think we were going to get to this place, and then there was a roadblock, and I was for, we're going to go somewhere else, and you said, well, let's try and go the long way around to it. And then behold, there was 2 spaces perfectly right in the centre of a little village they provided with services, with all the 4 services. Went into the village that night and had a
great
drink, and there was music opposite. It was just a nice night, and they encourage it, and like I said, I don't understand, it can be done. And some of these airs, they're just purely a parking space, aren't they? But then there's loads of free camping spots that we've only used part for night. Some work out, and if they don't, you just move on to the next one.
Yeah.
I've never felt as though we're not going to find a place.
No, there's only a couple that haven't worked out, isn't there?
And then we just moved on there, and we found something fairly easy. There's lots of them, so don't be worried about if you're into finding park-ups. It's, from what I've seen, certainly in northern France, it's been easy.
So with respect to France, we did not stay on any campsites, which obviously allowed us to spend our budget in other places in the communities. And to be fair, it was mainly supporting the pastry and baguette industry, which I feel we now have shares in. With respect to Ayres, we stayed at many free locations, although we did have one fantastic night at Zeeru-Vannehoor on the Belgian border, and it costs just €8.75 per night, including electric hookup if you need it. As dawn breaks, Calais looks pretty and the route to the Eurotunnel entrance is really easy. We navigate through the self-service check-in.
Travelling around France, so the history was brilliant, wasn't it?
It's right up our street in the World War II.
Yeah.
History, but also, well, I don't know so much Stu, but it's really set off my interest in World War One, which, it's always been World War Two I've been interested in, but that was right up our street.
The whole northern France part is quite rich with that, because obviously the Normandy land, Dunkirk, and then you got the Normandy landings in World War Two and World War One. The whole line came.
We didn't expect to do so much history on this trip.
No,
excuse me. We were going to come back and do a very intense war trip in its own, but actually you can't not be in the area and not do the history. I mean, it's just impossible.
No. I'd say a lot of these places are beautiful to walk around as well anyway. I'd say there were some of the World War One sites along the Somme area and all that, and Vimy Ridge, etc., and all of those places.
Pegasus Bridge
for World War Two. So some real, and the cost of the attractions were reasonable.
We visited numerous attractions while we were in France, and of which 14 charged a total of £186.84. That's just an average cost of $13.30 for two people per attraction, or £6.65 per person. That is great value, and in the UK I'm sure it would be at least double that. So like Ireland, it's a well done to France for making these locations so accessible to the public at very reasonable prices. UK, take note. Outside of those that charge, there were many sites that were free.
LPG's easier than the UK for definite. We've only had to top up once, but it was easier to do actually, because the adapters are slightly different. I found it easier to do than in the UK, because it's not a screwed adapter; it's just a pressure adapter, effectively.
Having the better batteries really made a difference to this trip, because we drink a lot of tea and we've barely used LPG. So
we've been using the little travel kettle, which is, I have to say, is brilliant. I'll keep waiting for it to blow up and go off, and it's really quick.
Now we just use LPG for cooking in, Harry, and it came in at an amazing cost of just £5 for the whole trip. Oh God, where's he going? As usual, we're early, so we simply park up outside the facilities and wait for our time to move forward. And we just went in the duty free and ended up buying 12 months of rum that lasts us 12 months. It's incredibly cheap. We didn't even realise, we only went to the toilet.
It's about 40-50% cheaper, and we've got to say some family events coming up, so it's always useful just to get it, because we're saving so much money.
See, there's another couple. She's been in, come out and got him. That's exactly what happened to me.
Got him all excited.
Yeah, it's like you have to come and get some drink.
Yeah, food-wise, we've sort of bought daily on the go.
Yeah, we have, and we've eaten minimally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, less.
Yeah, we've eaten less. we've eaten just the bare essential. Well, no, okay. We spent a lot of money on bloody Twixes.
Yeah.
We've been buying a pack of 5 a day, which is, and also treats.
Yeah, I suspect.
But generally, yeah, I did find the food quite more expensive than I would have expected.
Yeah. But, you know, as I said, we haven't gone through stocking up the fridge so it's jammed and we can't get into even. We made the fridge just on a daily basis, which is actually, weirdly enough, it's just less stress when you try and get stuff in and out of the fridge because you're always doing that. We haven't had that. I haven't felt that at all.
So this category we are dreading as the food quality in France was off the scale. Every village seemed to have a place to buy bread and pastries, as we demonstrated throughout this series. So the food came to £588.77, and then miscellaneous extra snacks was £14 and a penny. Obviously, all our pastries and baguettes and brie, etc. are in our food number. So that's around 603 in total for 30 nights in France. And of course, on top of that, we treated ourselves to eating and drinking out, whether that be in bars, restaurants or cafes, with a total of £154.55 that was spent at 9 venues. Again, something that France gets right is vehicle parking, which in the main is free in most towns and villages. France, unlike England, encourages you to visit the local shops. And as such, we just spent £13.24 at 4 locations only for parking. So again, well done France, and I wish that England would take on board this approach. Laundry. Now we managed to keep this to 0. As we were fortunate enough mid-trip to use our family's home in Amsterdam, and so you may have to factor that in any trip that you're planning. Finally, our miscellaneous category. It came to £39, which was for 2 months of mobile SIM costs. Oh, and of course Stu purchased Andre the Azalea, that made it back home successfully. So cue drumroll. For the French leg of 30 days and nights, we spent a total of £1,716.69, which is a daily average of £57.22, which equates to £400.56 per week. This compares to our first island series of £351 per week. Let us know in the comments your budget and if these numbers are too high or too low. But what I must say is that we didn't skimp on anything. The electronic departures board tells us to proceed through the passport control and vehicle inspection.
It's all very simple.
Yeah, it is.
It's all, if you go self-check-in, it's all, you don't even need your ticket because they scan your registration, you just have to confirm it's you.
Malibu.
Carthager or something. I guess the kitchen's there. I guess it's a fixed bed at the moment. I'd have a drying room. No,
a drying room, yeah. We soon moved to the platforms and board our train. It's all really simple, I have to say. Oh God, they're real.
Vehicle check. Left curb.
Yeah, now it's my turn to say curb.
I think from Netherlands and Belgium, we heard that we didn't do any wild camping in the Netherlands. We stayed on 2 sites, which weren't cheap because one was in Amsterdam, but it was a beautiful site. And
if ever you want to visit,
location.
If you want to visit Amsterdam, it's
I don't think
brilliant location.
We'd definitely go back there again because it's the right location. yes, you pay a bit of money for it, but it's right on the metro links, wasn't it? It was literally within 10 minutes of the walk into the metro. It's perfect. So we definitely go there. And then we stayed at a smaller site because we went cycling for a few days with the family and that. So I had heard that that the Netherlands wasn't so easy wild camp, but we didn't try. Having said that, we did notice, because we were on the way back, we drove down through Rotterdam, through Zeeland, which was a really nice trip to drive along. It was fantastic to drive.
Yeah.
But we noticed on Parthenite there was hardly any sites that you could stay the night. So I suspect the Netherlands is probably more restrictive on you've probably got more expensive we have about it, but that was our impression.
As for the Amsterdam loop, which included stopping in Belgium for 2 nights, it comes in at a total of £997.74 for 11 nights. This equates to £90.70 per day. But as I said, this was a more expensive leg of the trip, as it was very much a family holiday period for those 11 days. So if we add the French, Netherlands and Belgium costs together, it's a total of £2,714.43 for 41 nights, which equates to £463.43 a week. So thank you, Europe, for a great experience of our first time there. And we are now more confident and will be back soon.
Turn left.
But for the majority of him, he made it. We've uncovered him.
Driving for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, fine. We're on the left hand side, talking back to me. Then we're sort of off into the side roads, I guess. Came to an island and I just had a mental blackout. Do I look left? Do I look right? I wasn't sure which way to look.
I'm really surprised at how both of us have been completely thrown by a roundabout.
Okay, cheers then. Thanks then, bye. Made it home, the last fill up, the last bill.
Yeah. You think we only just put 70?
Oh.
It's been a really long day. We got stuck on the motorway on the M25. It was a bloody nightmare. I know. Stu hasn't slept properly for 2 nights anyway.
4,305 kilometres.
So thank you for taking time to watch our version of Vanlife. If you do have any questions about this trip or our channel, us, Harry or anything, then drop us the questions in the comments and we'll create a question and answers video in the future. And please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe so you don't miss our future adventures.